In a previous video, I said Node is a highly scalable, data-intensive, real-time application because of its non-blocking, asynchronous nature. What does it mean by asynchronous? Let's try to understand using the example. Here we are going to take a restaurant example. Once we go to the restaurant, the server comes to you, take the order and go back to the kitchen. Meanwhile, food is being prepared, server visits another table to take the order. Once the food is prepared, same will be informed to the server to serve. By doing this, one server is managing multiple customers and no one needs to wait. So this is what we call non-blocking and asynchronous architecture. And this is how Node application works. Server is like a thread who is allocated to handle the requests. So a single thread is being used to manage multiple requests. It was all about non-blocking asynchronous application. Now we have blocking synchronous application. Let's see through the example how that works. Here we are going to take the same restaurant example where server comes to you, take the order and give them to the kitchen and waiting for the chef to prepare the food. And this time they are not doing anything, just waiting. They are not going to take the order from another customer until the meal is ready. This is what we call blocking and synchronous architecture. And this is how applications are built with framework like ASP.NET, Rails, etc. So when we receive the request on the server, one thread is allocated to handle it. Suppose this request was to retrieve some calculated data from the database, and as you know, sometimes queries takes time to execute those lengthy queries and return executed data. In this case, the thread will remain occupied until DB query is executed and results are there. Suppose we get new client request and like the process, new thread will be allocated. All of the threads are occupied and we receive another new client request. Then the client request need to wait until the previous threads are free, because as per the hardware configuration, maximum threads has been occupied and still being used by another processes. So this thread needs to wait. In case you do not want to wait, then you need to add new hardware. So in this kind of architecture, you are not utilizing your resource efficiently. In ASP.NET, we can use asynchronous architecture, but we have to do extra work for that. Node applications are asynchronous by default and you do not need to do anything extra. In Node, we have a single thread to handle all requests. Once the request arrives, the single thread will be allocated to handle that request. From the previous example, if the request was to retrieve the data from the database, then the thread does have to wait for the query to be completed and can be assigned to handle a new request. Once database execution is completed and results are there, it puts the message which can call event queue. Node continuously monitoring the queue in the background. When it found an event in the queue, it takes it out and process it. This kind of architecture makes Node ideal for building application for IO intensive applications like network and all. We can serve more clients without adding new hardware. In next topic, we will learn how to install Node.exe and we will try to write some basic code. If you have liked this video, press thumbs up, subscribe this channel and share with your friends.